Hello YouTube, Dregottems back again with another Pokemon TCG Online deck profile. Today we're going to be spotlighting Malamar from the promo set. It is the Malamar with contrary ability. If this is your active Pokemon, whenever your opponent flips a coin during his or her turn, treat it as tails. So he's a pretty interesting card. Thought it'd be kind of fun to check him out since I don't see a lot of people running him. So we're going to feature him. He has the Theta Stop ancient trait, where prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon abilities done to this Pokemon. So I mean that helps him out. Like he's kind of small, gives him a little more protection. Things like bats can't hurt him. Crawdon to knock off his energy can't work as well. So the Theta Stop's pretty cool, and then the Contra ability is kind of why we want to try to see him in action. If they're always flipping tails, that means things like Professor Birch, Crushing Hammers, Super Scoop Ups will all be tails when he's active. And also, if your opponent is confused, they won't be able to attack through that confusion. And his conform attack can actually confuse. You have to have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent when you attack, and then your opponent will also be confused. Then if he's confused and he tries to attack, it's going to be a guaranteed miss. So that's really cool to try to make that happen. We have other ways to confuse as well, so let's kind of get into the deck. To start off, we have two Shaman, just for that consistent draw power. So always try to get at least two in the deck if possible. Now for the Inkay, there's a bunch of different Inkays you can use. The one we're going to run, actually I don't know if there's a bunch, there might just be two now that stuff has kind of rotated out. But we aren't going to use the Ancient Origins one, we're going to use the XY Inkay. This one is definitely much better for what we're trying to do. With his Confusion Wave, for one Dark Energy, both active Pokemon are now confused. So you're starting off with the Inkay, you can attach your energy, confuse yourself and the opponent. Then on your next turn, if you are confused, you get a free evolution from the deck. You can upside down evolution, grab the Malamar, attach him, and then you're good to go with his contrary ability. So I definitely like this Inkay for this reason. You can kind of set up and think if they're running a basic Pokemon like an EX and they can't evolve out of that confusion to start, they might be in trouble already. So we're gonna run 3 of him, 3 of the Malamar, because although we're trying to use him, he isn't a super overly powerful hitter. So we're going to be using some other, really strong darks as well, like the Evital. Basic Evital with Oblivion Wing. That's going to be our main attack with this guy. Does 30 damage for a dark energy, and then it can discard a dark from the graveyard to the bench. So that's pretty cool. Just really gets the energy acceleration going, and you'll typically be attaching it to the Evital EX, doing the Evil Ball, stacking a lot of energies on them, and then doing massive amounts of damage. So it's pretty cool balance that we have here. We have the standard Evital build, which hits hard and like kind of cycles energies from the discard, and then you also have the Malamar stage 1 to kind of do some trickeration stuff to him. It helps to have a stage 1 in your deck now that we're seeing Regice be so dominant. So to have a way to get around Regice, a way to get around Pyroar, definitely helps. Definitely helps. Beautifly as well, even. So that's it for our Pokemon lineup. 3 Evital EXs, 3 basic Evitals, a 3/3 line of Malamar, and 2 Shaman EX. Alright, for the trainers, we have 3 Battle Compressor. We use this mainly to dump dark energies to the discard pile for Evital. You can also set some of your supporters there too, pick it back up with the Versus Seeker, and then you're good to go. Next card we have is Energy Switch. Now typically what I'll have here is a tool retrieval. We're using the Energy Switch here because on the PTCGO online, the tool retriever is bugged right now. Like if you say you have a head ringer on yourself and you try to send that head ringer off, instead of going to the discard pile, it goes back to the opponent's hand, which sucks. So I'm not using the tool retriever where I would be, but I'm using Energy Switch. it's really hard for people to predict energy switch coming into play, so it can win you games here and there. We have one enhanced hammer, one professor's letter, because you want to get dark energies in your hand for the basic eVTOL. Two switch, three ultra ball, just kind of grab what you need. Three VS seeker. A lot of people like to run four, but I find that whenever I run four, I'm always starting off with a hand of like two VS seeker, two Lysander, and then I'm just like in poop situation. Running one Ace Trainer. Now, Ace Trainer's not the best of cards. He can be pretty solid, you know, using it like when the prize count goes down from 5 to 6, you know, and then you take him down to 3. But I mainly have this in here for that that Metagross deck that just builds its hand up really big, like the Ancient Ability one, Ancient Trait. It's kind of hard to stop, but Ace Trainer, one of those, and bam, their whole plan just kind of gets reset. So I really love one Ace Trainer for that, and he can be flexible in other situations. One Hex Maniac, just for, you know, lock, like Vile Plume or other things that are annoying in our way. We have two Lysander, one Pokemon Center Lady, cool just to keep things healed up. Maybe a basic eVTOL if you want to keep loading up energies on your bench. So that helps. I really like Fan Club. Like I typically run one Fan Club in most of my decks. It grabs the EXs that you need, obviously basics, but also grabs Shaman. So I know it's not an inherently draw card, but it can draw for you if you grab a Shaman. So that's kind of cool. We have two Professor Birch's Observations, four Professor Sycamore because it's just the best draw card in the game. We have 4 Shadow Circle, which is very helpful because electric decks for our eVTOLs and fighting decks for our Malamars are very prevalent and seeing a lot of play. So Shadow Circle helps to wipe off all of our weaknesses for that. And 3 Muscle Bands because it's just that good. For energies, we have 4 double colorless and 9 darks. So that's the deck. It's really good. You know, eVTOL EX has been around for a long time, and that's really good. And now this Malamar gives us a stage 1 to help us against like anti-EX decks. So how about we say we hop into Pokemon TCG Online and give it a go. Let's see here. Let's go ahead. And yes, I believe the deck is Shadow Terrors. So let's go ahead and find the game. Here we go. Toy Young. Let us challenge Toy Young. Let us be victorious. I think we're going to go first. Awesome. See what we're looking like. Okay, starting off with the Inkay, with the upside down evolution. Now, if our opponent plays something that doesn't seem to be able to kill us in one turn, which is that, then we're going to go ahead and put the energy on them. And we'll put the Muscle Band. Play the other Inkay. This would be a really nice card actually to have go against the Seismitoad. We're gonna go ahead and Shaman for 3 cards. Use the VS Seeker now in case our opponent gets the lock next turn, and we'll end our turn. Now the opponent should be able to do 50 damage, and here it all goes. And hammers. Oh, he's going to go ahead and get our Sceptile instead. That's alright. We can let him start focusing. Oh, he didn't even... do we have an energy? No, we don't. Damn. I guess what we're going to go ahead and do is retreat this Shaman for the Inkay. Go ahead and use another Professor's Letter. Get another eVTOL EX. And another basic. So now we have our lineup set. See if we need another. Nah, I don't think we're going to be doing Fan Club anymore. And we're going to go ahead and use this Confusion Lair. Now that was a big thing for us to get that Confusion on the Toad before he could attack. So now if he tries to attack, he's going to have to flip a coin. If he doesn't hit it, next turn we can evolve. And if we can evolve, he won't be able to use his bats against us, which will be that ancient trait actually coming into play, which is actually amazing. So we're going to go ahead, use upside down evolution. Now we have the Malamar. And now we can actually start doing some fun stuff here. So, oh, actually we don't even have to set up our Malamar for the confusion because that toad is already confused. His hammers aren't going to hurt us, so that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're just going to Hex Maniac. So our opponent can't use any of his bats on our back row. Via Seeker in case something weird happens with the toad. And get that Hex Maniac again for next turn. And we're just going to keep using Malamar. So now he can't attack. The only thing he's going to be able to do is like retreat, AZ, something like that. Hammers, like I said, aren't going to work because of Malamar's contrary ability. He's going to be a Seeker for a Lysander. That is another play that he can use, unfortunately. And he goes into the Evital. Now I guess we're going to try to get this Evital off the active spot. I'll go ahead. Didn't work, but that's alright. We can start boosting him up. And I guess we'll just end our turn. There's no really guy we got to search for with our Ultra Ball, so we can just sit on that. Even if he can use his bats, Team Flare Grunt, he won't be able to use it on our Malamar. So, and Toad won't be able to attack unless he retreats him or AZs him or something. And okay, and I'm hesitant to keep putting energies on this Evital, but if he keeps knocking them off, eventually we'll get our basic Evital in play and then bring them all back. So I'm not too worried about that. We can go use Birch to maybe draw into a switch. And no, we have an energy switch, which we aren't going to use right now. We don't need a Shadow Circle, so go ahead and use this Letters. Thin out the deck so we can hopefully draw into a switch card and see if our opponent's going to try to team Grunt again. I guess it's not the end of the world if he does, because he's not using much draw power. But it is kind of annoying to keep it. Oh, cool. No, he's not. So I guess what we're going to go here, I guess we'll go ahead and start putting the beat down on our opponent. Now you're starting to see how damaging that confusion is. Apparently our opponent's just kind of abandoned that Seismitoad. He hasn't put any more energies on him. Doesn't feel like it's worth the risk trying to bring that out. So I guess he's just going to kind of give up on him. We'll go ahead and take the kill. Our opponent is going to be getting close to being able to kill this Evital with the bats, and now he has an Electric EX, so that's gonna, now we're gonna want to play that Shadow Circle. Oh, luckily we drew into another Shadow Circle, so that's helpful. Yes, opponent decides to hold off on the double colorless. Okay, gonna go into a Shaman instead. Pretty smart play. Let's go ahead and play that down. Yeah, why not? I'm going to try to keep this Evital alive if at all possible. And attack with the next ball. See a level ball for a Zubat. Expect to start to get this Manectric going. Hopefully we can keep a Shadow Field on the field at all times. That way we can make sure that we're not suffering from that weakness to electric damage. Alright. So, let us see how many cards we can draw. We're going to go ahead and use Birch, hopefully draw onto 7. Didn't draw 7, unfortunately. We get the switch, but that's not going to help us right now because we're not going to be able to confuse them. So, what we can do, and this Evital is pretty weak right now. We could switch him and try to just set up with the basic Evital, but with bats going, he's likely going to get that kill on us. So we're just going to have to Y Cyclone for a 90s hit and go over to our basic Evital. Or we're going to need another Evital EX on the field soon. Just gonna check our opponent's grave, see how many switches. Let's see here. Not much. Use a good amount of hammers. Only 2 super scoop ups. So that's discouraging. He's gonna go for another ace trainer. Going for the birch. Probably searching for some more super scoop ups. So we got the attack as we were expecting. If we can get an energy. Let's hold on. We already have. Let's see. Probably not going to need another one of those. And lovely, we have another shaman. Try and get this kill. We draw an energy. Damn. And didn't. Oh, yeah, I guess we did. That we don't need any other. No. Let's go ahead and kill him with the darkness blade. Mwahaha. 2 more prizes. Opponent sets down another Manectric EX. And another Ace Trainer as well. Let's see what we draw out of that. Nothing good, unfortunately. And he brings out the Manectric. So we're still alive. Now we need a Manectric on the bench to set up. Unfortunately, we do not have that right now. So I guess all we can do is go ahead and attack for 100. See if we can get a little bit more damage on this Manectric, you know, before they can get the damage on us. Put this down to 9 cards. We can use it. No, we could use a draw card. We have 5 cards. Our opponent could free retreat. I think that's what we're gonna have to do right now, unfortunately. No, actually, I'm not really liking our position. We need that Evital to get going, so we're gonna go ahead and start doing some damage with our basic Evital. Here we go, here we go. All we need to do is kill that Mega Manectric or the Shaman EX, and we get a Team Flare Grunt. And that takes away our weakness protection Shadow Circle, unfortunately, so hopefully we can draw into another energy. Not what we were searching for. Let's go ahead and load up this Evital EX. Put us down to 7 cards. So he's just going to have to keep poking a little bit. Here we see a super scoop up. And he hits it. So that's really good for our opponent. Targets are probably just going to be these 2 guys on our bench that already have damage. So we'll see if we can get into something before he's able to make all that happen. And our opponent's thinking. I would expect him to put the damage on our damaged Shaman EX. Oh, well, I think he tried to put it on the Malamar, and the Malamar is protected. So that worked out for us right there. Down to 2, and we drew a lovely card. And we also have a switch. So let's do a little calculation. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120 plus this damage right there. Let's switch into him. And let us evil ball for a big hit. So it comes down to this turn. We see a crushing hammer. Opponent misses on the crushing hammer. And we see Golbat go down onto the Evital. Surprised he didn't go after the Shaman EX. Or expect to see something like Lysander to give him a way to live for another turn. Opponent puts the Shaman down. He's going in for a big hit. If our opponent doesn't Lysander, or I guess he can't Ace Trainer right now, then we should have the win. Wow, look at that. We pulled it out. We survived. Very aggressive deck. But hey, we hung in there. Great job. There's a victory. So we saw some Malamar. We actually probably kind of won that game because our opponent tried to put 3 damage counters on the Malamar and then attack our bench Shaman, but he didn't realize that we were protected from that, and that helped us. We also had a little activity from the Malamar, so as I stated before, he isn't the main attacker, but he is a nice addition to a dark deck if you're looking for a stage 1 that can help you with things like Regice, because Regice is a problem. Even Pyroar, which we don't see that much of, but yeah, I like it. I think it went pretty well. I hope you guys give it a try. He can be very damaging in the right situations. So yeah, we'll see. Until next time, I've been Dregottems, and thanks for watching.